Hey, thanks for calling the Beards and Sundries Market. You've reached Jay. Leave a message after the tone.
Guys, this is Anthony. I can't make it in today. I'm sick. Hear that? Anyways, I gotta go. I got a raging party. A raging stomach ache. Yeah. Bye, bitches.
Good evening. This is Beards and Sundries Podcast News, your one-stop news shop every Sunday, with your host, Jay. Another host, Anthony. And another host, Joe. We're your Beards and Sundries hosts and news anchors for Season 5 of Beards and Sundries. And welcome back.
And welcome back.
Welcome back to Season 5. I think it's episode 14.
I think it's 13. I could be wrong, though.
Well, one of the others. You'll figure it out.
But that's right, guys. It's time for another lunch break here at Beards and Sundries, the shop where three, usually, gay men do with beards do inventory on a new sundry in each episode.
My name is Jay, and I'm going to speak nicely of Anthony on this episode since he's not here this week.
I can see your nose coming right toward me, Pinocchio.
Oh, my screen is shattered.
And I'm Joe, and finding a way to break the ice can be tough, especially without any polar bears around. And that means that today's sundry item is conversation starters. Beardos, you may have noticed that one of your shop clerks / news anchors isn't here with us today. Well, it just so happens that Anthony was called off on a quick work trip over to North Carolina this week to help with some recovery efforts, so we decided that the show must go on, and you're going to spend this lunch break with Jay and me. However, both Jay and myself are horrible at making decisions, so we are depending on some convo starters that I found online, specifically parade.com. Oh god, buckle up. Jay and I will chat about some of these random topics, and then after the break, we're going to talk about sick time and why you should absolutely use it. But before we attempt to adjust Anthony's sound and video settings, how about this week's voicemail?
Boo, you whore.
Perfect reference. That was probably the best part of the voicemail, I think, was the cough.
Oh. That's what he does at the doctor's office every time he drops his pants. Cough.
And it was perfect, too, because the voicemail sounded like it cut off the S in stomach ache, so it said stomach ache.
Stomach ache. Also, speaking of dropping your pants, when did that cutoff happen where they stopped having you do that so you'd cough?
They stopped?
Do they stop? I haven't had a doctor do that in forever.
That's how you gain entry to our house. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, yeah, but you're not my doctor. I felt normal doing that.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
Oh, sorry, Blanche. I tilted back and she got all worked up.
Oh. She said, no, don't. I don't want to see him.
What's outside? Oh, there's somebody walking. Oh, shit. She's like, fuck people.
Gotta go see. Edgar.
Oh, how does this go? Joe?
Yes, Jay?
Will you start a conversation with me? Actually, how can I start a conversation in aisle 4?
You have to ask me where the sundries are.
Oh, is that... Oh, fuck. How does this go?
Somehow, creatively.
How does he do this? How do I start a conversation about sundries in aisle 4? Where are they? Fucking just tell me about sundries. What's a sundry?
Well, if you're new to the show and you're wondering just what the hell a sundry is, the term comes from an old English word meaning odds and ends. Now today it's used mainly in retail as a way to group together items that don't typically have a group of their own, so as two indecisive gay men with beards, we are using the term to group together the wide range of topics that we cover.
I need Anthony to know we don't depend on him at all to do anything in this show, just so he doesn't like get an ego or anything.
I'm only having a little bit of withdrawal from not hearing him say, "Wow."
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
But yeah, he's in North Carolina. He just got the call on Monday morning, actually, that they needed someone to go help, and because they had a big power outage with all the storms this past weekend at their North Carolina location. So he is currently out there helping out with some inventory stuff, and he should be back by the time this airs. So yeah, he'll be back next week for
rescue
sure.
boy, he's out doing little rescue things,
Oh,
saving
yeah,
the world.
He's not saving the world, and he wouldn't ever tell you that. He's saving the interests of his company.
Yay,
All of
capitalism.
us. Yay. I said it that way
man.
because I knew he would too.
I'm really glad that my company would never do that to me, just because like there's nothing out in a field office that I would associate with. So thankfully.
Yeah, we have plenty of people that do that for our company. But we'll talk more about capitalism and some of the small rewards that it gives off after the quick break that we have first up. But like I said in my intro, I found an article on parade.com. Ooh, some real thrilling reading there. And it's 250 good conversation starters.
And we're going to go through all
randomly... Oh my god, imagine.
Buckle
some
up,
of them-
guys. This episode's going to be long.
Some of them go a little deeper than I want to go for this show, so we're going to do some more fun ones and maybe some lighter ones. Maybe a deep one or two, but we'll see.
Are these for the same like scenario, or are they like some of them are for dating, some of them are for just work? Like
They break them down into like things you can say like at work, things you can say at a party for a deeper conversation, when you're on a first date, things you can say to kids, when networking. So there's all kinds of different scenarios here, and then the questions are basically just listed in order, but they're categorized into different areas where you would ask them in, ideally.
I do actually need all of these because I feel like as I get older, I'm getting worse.
I know as I'm getting older, I'm getting worse, just in general. But there was a good one here that I had, but I scrolled away and I lost it. But there's a bunch of good random ones on here. So let's hop right into it. And I thought just to be like a fun way to get our feet wet here, I would start with funny conversation starters. So funny things. According to parade.com. So the first one we're going to do, Jay,
Reliable.
is a hot dog a sandwich?
Oh, God. Okay, so these kind of conversation starters are things that I would start in a tacky meeting at work.
Okay.
Because
Because you know everyone already?
I know everyone already, and normally, sometimes when you do group meetings that are, how would I say it? There are multiple different departments and units pulled together that people don't usually like actually mesh normally in meetings. It's kind of a way to loosen up the topic to kind of get us going and feel a little more comfortable. But even then, I hate these so much. I just know I have to do them. Because I'm real bad about walking into meetings if I'm running them. And I'm like, hey, this is casual. Feel free to just butt in whenever you feel like it. This isn't going to be uptight. And then that's how I kind of loosen it up. But I just had a meeting a few weeks ago where the conversation starter was actually playing. It was kind of like putting together a collection of pictures to make a word.
Oh.
And so I'm trying to... all of them were based off our business. So I can't really give you a good example off of those. But, okay. If you had a picture of somebody holding up a stop sign and a picture of a watch, that would mean stopwatch.
Stopwatch, yeah.
That's the kind of thing we did. And so we did it to be very business related, and some of them were funny, and some of them were about like the owner of the company, things like that. So it was kind of a fun way to get people to think and speak up.
So fun.
But is a hot dog a sandwich?
I'm going to go ahead and start with my analysis. And I think that a hot dog is more like a taco because you're holding it in one hand, it's upright, not toward you, and you're not really eating it as the top bun, middle contents, and a bottom bun piece of bread. You're eating it as a taco toward you in a torpedo kind of motion. That's my very scientific way of describing a hot dog. So I think that a hot dog is more closely related to a taco, wherein you have your vessel, your meat, and your toppings on top. So I think that a hot dog is not a sandwich.
I am also not putting it in a sandwich category. A sandwich, yes, it is meat and items put in between two pieces of bread, but it also, I think, it is defined by the method of how the bread is put together. Like hoagies and things like that, they are still separated. If the bread is still connected at one end, I don't find it a sandwich. Mm-hmm. So I agree with your taco association. And you also eat it a specific way compared to a sandwich. So, yeah, not a sandwich to me.
It's not a sandwich. It's a hot dog. And it's not a sandwich. It's a hoagie.
And if any of our listeners think it's a sandwich, then fight me, bitch.
They're like opening their email. Oh. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to kids. How about a good conversation starter with a kid?
I also need that because I also I just constantly think of that SNL skit, Duolingo for Kids.
Yeah, with Kristen Stewart.
Yeah.
Cool backpack.
Do you wear that clothing to school?
All the adults are like, ugh. Ugh. Okay, here we go. Do you have a favorite Disney character?
Oh, that is kind of a good question. Although, do kids go, oh, yeah, here's my category of people I like from Disney?
Depends on how old the kid is, I guess. Because someone would be like, Elsa! And then someone would be like, and then some like random gay guy would be like, oh my god, I fucking love Ursula. She eats it. But
she eats it. She serves.
Oh my god. Yes, please. But there's different answers for it, really. I mean, there's so many different Disney characters in the first place. But I think that some of my favorites come from the Pixar universe because the Pixar films are so... they're really kind of great in the way that they portray ideas for both adults and children. And a lot of them, specifically the Inside Out movies, a lot of these Pixar films are able to visualize a lot of different concepts and ideas as they occur to make kids understand them better and to also help adults understand them better. Case in point, when they did the anxiety attack during Inside Out 2, and they were able to visually show kind of the idea of what happens to that emotion when an anxiety attack is happening and when a panic attack kind of takes over your mind and doesn't let anything else occur. That was really groundbreaking, I thought, and a great way to portray it, especially for kids and really for adults, too.
I do appreciate the newer Disney, like, really giving off this educational...
I want to say, like, woke but not woke, you know?
Yeah, it's, like, super educational, a little bit more self-exploring, rather than being like, here's a woman who's sacrificing everything for this guy. For love. Because that's life.
Yeah. The writers of the Hallmark Movie Network are seeing these new Disney movies and they're like, no!
What are we going to base our films off of? Christmas can only go so far.
How's she ever going to find a cute, scruffy guy from the wrong side of the tracks who owns a Christmas tree farm?
What are we supposed to do? Make her love herself when she leaves the big city?
Then she won't spend any money. Hallmark. Keepsake ornaments.
Cards. Can you imagine just every movie it's them in the Hallmark section or the Hallmark card section just buying cards constantly?
I'm surprised they don't. I mean, honestly,
now that I think about it, that is product placement that I'm really impressed they haven't done, which I bet all of their Christmas trees, though, have Hallmark ornaments on them.
Oh, I bet. All the new collections. I know a couple of people who are like keepsake ornament collectors, and I wonder if they sit there and they're just like, oh, I have that one. I have that one. Because, like, they just are
You
able to
know
look at
there
all of
are.
them.
Because there's collectors that just go bonkers over that stuff, which I don't understand because, I don't know, I'm weird. But I kind of want to go watch a Hallmark film now just to be reminded of
Just to
how
point
much
all of
I
the
hate
bullshit.
them. Because I'll watch them like, you know what, maybe this is the year that I've kind of softened up. But I'm like, these movies aren't so horrible. It's just a company trying to make money. And then all of a sudden I get into it. And I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. But there's always
It's so bad.
there's always like one little bit chunky older actress that is always sassy and fun. And I'm like, you're the character I like in this show.
It's funny because my brain keeps going to Crazy Ex-Girlfriend because that show kind of at first makes you believe it's going to take that same story archetype and she's going to be like horrible and boring. But then like it turns it and spins it on its head and you're like, oh, they're making fun of it. And then because when you said like older chunky female character, I'm like, oh my God, Paula.
God, I love
That
Paula.
show follows all the stereotypes, but it makes fun of itself in such a genius way that it doesn't feel like it's taking itself too seriously.
I will never, ever change my mind. I don't think that it is such an underrated show. And I just think, you know what? I don't think it came out at the wrong time. I just don't think it was appreciated for its message at the time because now mental health's a big deal. When that show was on TV,
It was still taboo.
it still was a little bit more taboo, and she was pushing boundaries. And maybe her show was the trigger.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, it helped us a little bit with some of the songs, so I'm sure it helped other people a lot more too.
It's the show that really made me start going, wait a minute. My mental health. And then, like, finally I, like, had cancer, and that made me take that times a billion and really go further. And so these past 4 years have been just, like, constant change.
Yeah, in a good way, mostly.
I was like, mostly my stuff's been good. A few little
okay.
kicks in the road here, but we'll survive.
just a couple little speed bumps, right?
Just a little bumpy speedy.
Let's move on to this next category. This is conversation starters for a first date. Let's see.
Oh, God.
Oh, here we go. Have you ever been here before? No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Why would I ask that at the park? Of course they've been there before.
At the park bathroom.
The park bathroom. You ever been here before? Oh, yeah, that's my favorite stall over there.
Okay, let's see. What's the best vacation you've ever been on?
We're on a date, right? We're not, like, meeting someone for the first time.
Yeah, we're on a date.
Oh, okay. No, I actually think that's a good one. Huh, that's a pretty good question. I'm going to have to write that down my little book.
Thinking of all of them.
It's definitely been since 2020, so it would have to be our cruise or... You know, my friend's wedding in Colorado was amazingly just relaxing.
I think I'm gonna say the same. Ours was a wedding too, and it was a whirlwind of a trip too because we sandwiched it right next to one of our trips to go see my family in Florida. So we were going to see my family for a week, then we were getting on a plane and going to a wedding in Phoenix. Well, it was rural Arizona, but the closest way to get there was to fly into Phoenix. So we flew into Phoenix the next weekend. We went to this wedding. It was beautiful. It was in the woods. It was just this picturesque setting. It was an open bar, so it was like lit. And then we drove back to the airport, and then we came home from Phoenix. So that was probably a lot of fun because we got to see my family. We got to do our Florida thing in the same time. We got to go to one of our it was actually Matt and Kaylin's wedding. So we got to go to their wedding, and then we got to have fun with them, and then we came home. So it was a nice 2 weeks of, like, unwinding, just not thinking about anything here at the house, and just, it was a good way to get away from it all for a while and see some things we had been meaning to go see but weren't necessarily going to if we hadn't put those trips right next to each other.
It's funny because every vacation that every trip I'm thinking of has been great in its own way. that it's hard to select one, because I had
Yeah,
that cruise with
exactly.
you guys that was 7 days of just like a chill friendship, fun, no pressure on anything, no schedule. It was just nice. And then I had my cruise just in April of this year that I was with a couple other friends, and I felt so relaxed. I was able to like write a ton of a book, and I loved that. And then Colorado was so relaxing because it was just gorgeous. Great trip. Everything was great. But even my Vegas trip was really good because I met a bunch of cool people. I had a
Nice.
ton of fun. I didn't regret anything about the trip. Like, it's just, or maybe I'm just happy that I'm having good vacations now that I've like left my crazy ex from back in the day.
I mean, that could be a huge factor of it too, because like some of our Minnesota trips have been just amazing. We found so many excellent people that we've really just connected with, and this natural beauty that's up there, and just the whole state is gorgeous by itself anyway, and the whole vibe of it just feels like Dallas Fort Worth, just liberal and cooler weather, and more aware people that just have their priorities are in the right place. So it's easy to hold a conversation with anyone up there because you tend to agree with what they're saying, because a lot of people up there have the same common goals in mind, which I think is kind of why their governor is so fucking cool.
Oh, yeah. That's probably why. Now I want to go on another vacation. I think after I get this house sold, I'm just going to book a vacation. That sounds
Do it.
fantastic.
Well, you'll have a little spending money after you sell that house.
Ugh, I will, but I need to make sure I don't spend it all. I want that equity to last.
I know. Oh God, who knows what's gonna happen with it nowadays? Okay. So, just going down the list, looking for some fun ones. What's your favorite food?
Oh, that seems basic.
It is.
But you
very
know I'm
basic.
going to ask it. Like, you
Right.
got to ask it.
You gotta. Mine's not hard though, and a lot of people already know that it's common knowledge. Mine is macaroni and cheese, of course, and it's my license plate on my car, and there's always at least like 3 or 4 boxes of emergency stash in the pantry, and just I have rarely met a mac and cheese that I don't like.
Yeah, and I tend to land on Mexican food really, really easily, but then, I can also hit a burger really, really easily, or sushi. I mean, it's just, yeah. Like, I was actually going to eat super healthy and really light tonight, and then I forgot that we had to record, and so I was like, well, that eats into cooking time, so I guess I'll walk down and eat something today. And I've been craving barbecue because we've started our United Way annual fundraiser at work, and it always starts off with a barbecue lunch that you buy tickets for, and they started smoking this morning, and downtown right now smells just heavenly.
I was gonna say there's probably some great stuff if they started this morning.
Yeah, they start it 24 hours early, and
Wow.
by the time you get out, it's so good. I'm a little bit wet thinking about it right now.
I'll say
'Cause
too, I agree with you with barbecue, and I mean some fresh brisket is a great way to zhuzh up a good bowl of mac and cheese.
You know what's weird is I didn't like barbecue for a long time, and I'm not sure what made me dislike it for so long. But I
The
just
thing with
never
barbecue,
craved it.
it's such a big intense hobby that people who get into it really fucking get into it, and sometimes to an overbearing sense of the hobby, and it kind of is a turnoff sometimes, especially when it's the only thing people want to talk about. I get it, it's interesting and it's very precise, and there's science behind it, of course, and it's expensive, and I'm just I just give me the fucking sandwich so I can be on my way, man. I don't care.
And maybe I just had shitty barbecue where I grew up and didn't realize it was good. But now I mean, irony, I love a good smoked sausage and a hot link, things like that. Sorry. I just had a flashback to 2014 probably, and I went out to the bars with all these gay people that I kind of knew. Of course, I got just drunk enough that we got outside and I was like, I'm buying everyone hot links because they were just easy from this barbecue stand that always popped up in the gay district.
Yeah.
And I ate one, and then somebody else was like, I can't. It's too spicy, so I ate theirs. And then went home and went to bed. Next day, woke up. Decided I was in school, so I decided I was going to do homework. And I went to Starbucks down the road and was having coffee and doing my homework when all of a sudden the urge hit. And I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing this here. I'm going to go home. And so I was probably like 2 miles from the house. And so I get in my car, and I'm like, maybe half a mile away from Starbucks, and I'm like, oh God, this is serious. And like I get up to a stoplight that's backed up, and I'm in a panic, and so I just like squeal through a Taco Bell parking lot to dodge the stoplight, and it's a 45, and I'm probably going 80 to get back to the apartment. I'm pretty sure I got just a hint of air on this hill right in front of my apartment, and I squealed in. I did not have time to wait for the gate, and I like squealed to a stop, and then because the little like sidewalk gate, the latch was broken, so I knew I could just like run, and my building was right there, and I like sprinted upstairs. I was third story, and I busted through my front door, left it open, and then went into the bathroom, and I barely made it. That was the most terrifying poo story I think I've ever had.
Oh my God.
And that's including the times I have sharded myself, but that was... Oh, and then on top of that, it was just like fire spewing out.
Like lava.
It was definitely lava.
That reminds me of, not Bridesmaids. What am I thinking of? Or maybe I am thinking of Bridesmaids.
The one in the sink?
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely
when they're at
Bridesmaid.
the fitting.
It's coming out of me like lava. Now!
Oh.
Stop shitting in the sink.
That the best part of this is that that's the exact opposite of how you behave at the airport. When you have no time, but you act like you have all the time in the world to make it to your gate. You should be running and catching air on a hill and busting through the bathroom door to get to that gate.
And I'm just like, yeah, we'll make it.
I'm like, if I'm not there 2 hours beforehand with a straight line of vision to the gate, I am panicking.
What was I, like 18 minutes before or 26 minutes before last time? Like, whatever
They
it was.
were closing the door, and you slipped your hand in there and said, no.
I was like
almost
Kevin
have to be
McAllister, and I was like, wait, carrying my little paper ticket. And then I run into her, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be on this flight. My daddy's on there.
Daddy's got it.
But here's the kicker. The person I ran into was a single gay man, and it was the first thing I said to him. I'm like, but daddy's on that plane. And that is the starting line on your parade list, isn't it?
Yeah, it's number 69. I can't believe it. Oh, my God.
Oh, does this area have a pickup line area? That sounds fun.
Oh, let's see. I
was
think
like, if
there
it
was one
doesn't-
that was like, there was a category that was like, conversation starters at a bar. Is there anything about pickup lines there?
I was sitting here going, maybe I should look up pickup lines.
Oh, we could do that. Let me see real quick. Let's
Are
see.
you a time traveler?
Best pickup line. Why?
Because I can see you in my future.
Ugh.
I'd like to take you to the movies, but they don't let you bring your own snacks in. Except Joe. Like, I guess I could stick you in my my pockets.
Yeah, you gotta have pretty deep cargo pockets for me to fit in there. Pickup line.
No pen, no paper, but you still draw my attention. Joe, I'm testing all of these on you.
Oh God, shut up.
Well, here I am. What are your other two wishes?
Are you on thenot.com?
I am.
I could... All right, fine. Let's race and see who can get the funnier ones.
Are you a charger? Because I'm dying without you.
Are you French? Because I fell for you.
Are you a Mariah Carey song? Because all I want for Christmas is you.
I had a good pickup line ready to go, but you're so good looking that I'm literally speechless.
Is your dad a boxer? Because you're a knockout.
The implications of that whole thing are just bad.
Oh, this one's mine. Sorry, this one's mine. You know, I'm actually terrible at flirting. How about you try to pick me up instead?
Just kidding. Never mind.
No, I'm fat. Quit.
Are you a parking ticket? Because you've got fine written all over you.
Oh, God. 4 plus 4 equals 8, but you plus me equals fate.
No. Do you know what the Little Mermaid and I have in common? We both want to be part of your world. Wait. Isn't that... Oh, no, wait, that is... Okay. I was thinking of Aladdin, but that's... I can show you the world.
Yeah. A
In a
part
world.
of your world. I never realized how basically they are talking about parts of the world. Anyways, do you play soccer? Because you're a keeper.
Oh. I always thought that happiness started with an H, but it looks like it starts with U.
Happiness. You look so familiar. Did we have class together? I could have sworn we had chemistry.
Oh, boo! Ooh, here's an awful one. You're looking a little sick. You must be suffering from a lack of vitamin Me.
Ooh.
Ew.
Hate that.
Yeah. If you were a Transformer, you'd be Optimus Fine.
Yeah.
Do you like Star Wars? Because Yoda won for me. That sounds like a horrible like cardboard Valentine you would get on like the little envelope at the front of your desk that has
Oh,
like,
100%.
a terrible flavorless lollipop taped to it with Scotch tape, and it has your name written in like the mom's handwriting, but your name is spelled wrong because the mom doesn't know anybody in the class because she's a busy working mom, like Angelina Pickles' mom, Angelica Pickles' mom on Rugrats.
Oh. But you know what? I now understand her.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
As a kid, I was like,
mean,
why is she so busy?
No, listen, I went down a Google rabbit hole and I found out that all the parents in Rugrats were like 32, 31, like that age. And I thought when I was a kid, I thought they were like, I don't know, 100,
Late
50
40s.
to have all of their life together, like a house, 2 cars, babies, like
Babies.
babies.
Babies on stew pickles.
Something about pickle. Something about Stu's pickle for his pickle plant.
No.
Stu, why are you making pudding at 4 o'clock in the morning? Because I want to get in your pants. No, I don't know. I don't know. The lines are there somewhere. But
Did you ever watch Rugrats? Because
yeah.
that one won't play out well.
oh, I was like, yeah.
Oh my god, I did. I did. I went through a phase probably like 8 years ago where I was like recording Rugrats on TV and just watching it for a while because I'm like, this is kind of reminiscent of my childhood when I was, I don't know, alive.
Well, on that note of sinking into nostalgia, before we fall too far down that rabbit hole, you think we should go ahead and take our first break?
Yeah, let's take our first break without Anthony.
Well, then, we'll go into our first break, and I'm going to leave you with one more pickup line. Hey, Jay, do you like watching Nicktoons? Because you're going to see my dick soon. We'll be right back.
Hey listeners, are you ready to add some spice to your wardrobe? Check out hunkytops.com, the queer, Latino-owned clothing site that brings you the hottest styles. And here's an exclusive deal just for you, listeners. Get 10% off your first order with the code SUNDRIES. That's right, 10% off when you use the code SUNDRIES at checkout. They do offer sizes above 3XL. Just hit the contact button and request a larger size and they'll accommodate the best they can. So, what are you waiting for? Visit hunkytops.com today. Explore their amazing styles and wear your pride with confidence. hunkytops.com. Wear your pride, live your style. Remember, hunkytops.com. Use code SUNDRIES for 10% off your first order. Order now!
You're listening to the Beards and Sundries podcast, the news source that's still rated 5 out of 6 balls.
Well, all right, we are back from the line at the bar where we have successfully been picked up for a second date, thanks to all those amazing pickup lines. But now we're going to talk about something a little bit more fun, which is sick leave. Now, this country is unique in the sense that sick time provided for a job is not guaranteed, whereas it is in some other countries, so that creates a little bit of a disparity. And so I am fortunate enough to work for a company that gives me plenty of sick time to use, good vacation time. Not everyone is so lucky. But there is a culture in this country of overworking yourself, grinding yourself, and not taking time off when you really should be taking time off. Sometimes that could be the form of taking a mental health day, just a day to unwind and disconnect and kind of reset yourself. Or it could be when you actually are ill and you think that you're okay enough to go into work and just stick it out and be fine. But what you're doing then is you're just risking making other people sick. And so what you're supposed to do in this situation is take the day off and get feeling better faster, other than, the alternative, which is going to work and suffering longer and potentially getting other people, ill as well. So I think that sick time in this country is something that really needs to be reassessed and something that needs to be reevaluated because it is more important than a lot of companies give it credit for.
Yeah, I actually had sick time for a very long time, and we just changed to PTO. So I used to have sick and vacation, and now it's just PTO, where it's all combined.
It's all lumped into one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine's similar like that, where we have vacation time, and then we have sick and personal, and it's still divided, thankfully, which is nice, because every year it's over a certain amount of hours. If you haven't used your sick pay, you get paid back down to a number, and then you get that as a check, which is nice. Yeah.
Oh, my God. I just lost sick time if I didn't use it. Now, vacation you get paid if you don't use, but...
Yeah, so they do that with sick time, and then vacation you can roll over a certain amount too, but yeah. So that is a nice perk, and it's unfortunately a perk that not everyone in the country has because it's not a federal law. And I think it should be, because I think sick time and vacation time is imperative for people to maintain, one, a healthy work-life balance, and two, make their performance at work when they're there better, because happier employees do better jobs. And that's just how simple it comes down to that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also was really good at, hoarding my vacation time and just being sick a lot. And that was really nice.
I mean, I remember being a server back in college and just out of college, it was unheard of to have any kind of perks like that, because you were a tipped employee. So in this country, a standard wage for a restaurant worker or server is $2.13 per hour, and then they're basing that on basically just covering your taxes when you get a check. So a lot of times I would get a check that was like $0, and they would just have to hand me a piece of paper that said $0 for their bookkeeping purposes. But a lot of servers still to this day depend on tips for almost all of their income. So, yeah. I mean, I could never go back to it now. I mean, I was a good server when I was a server, but I could never go back to doing it now.
Yeah. It's funny how back then I thought that was a legit, really, well, I mean, it is a legit, but I just thought it was such a successful job because I had so much control over how much I made based off of how I did and how often I worked. And now, I couldn't imagine going back because it's so unstructured and because they're so fucked on benefits.
Yes, they are. Yeah. And, I mean, it's what you said, the freedom and the flexibility of the schedule, which I remember all the time. I'd be in multiple text threads with other servers that were like, hey, I'm giving away a shift today, or I'm looking to pick up hours. So people would trade shifts back and forth all the time. So you could potentially have the day off waking up that morning if something came up, like your friends were like, hey, let's go to the lake. Or if your friends were like, let's do something, or you have something coming up that you forgot about, you could just offload your shift and suddenly, boom, you've got the day off with no repercussions because you didn't call out. So you've got your shift covered and everything's fine and hunky-dory at your job, and then you've got the day off to do whatever you want, which
With
is
no
a double-edged
pay.
sword because you're not getting paid. So
I was like, you-
if you had the freedom to do that, you could go ahead, but a lot of times you shouldn't be doing it.
Well, and if you took week-long vacations, which, you know, I couldn't afford shit like that back then, but you'd be gone having fun and then being like, well, I'm never going to get money that entire week.
The entire time, yeah. So that's where the sick pay and vacation pay comes in, and where it is such a big benefit is it allows people to be able to take time off with their loved ones or themselves and, you know, discover places, things, sites they had never seen before, or just take time off to work on their own stuff and get in a better headspace for themselves. And that's why it's so important, really. It's not just because they want to take advantage of their employer.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I'd do if I didn't have that freedom to just up and run and still get a paycheck.
Yeah.
Salary life is pretty nice.
Anyway, we are so bad at this.
You know, technically we could just go on to our next go on to a commercial and just...
That's true.
You know, we don't have to be as long as usual.
Well, Beardos, we have had a little bit of fun spending our time high up on our soapbox, in the spirit of Anthony not being here, of course. But, Jay, do you think it's time for us to go ahead and move on to a commercial?
It has to be time for a commercial. Yes, it does. And now, a word from our sponsor, the Call-In Excusinator.
Look, man, I had to be in North Carolina on an impromptu work trip this week. I left on Monday. I didn't have reliable internet because I was in the middle of nowhere. And honestly, I think that's a pretty damn good reason to not be able to record this week for myself, but whatever. I don't know exactly what the premise of this commercial is supposed to be, but Joe and Jay left it to me to do for some fucking reason. So just imagine that I made up a whole bunch of really awesome reasons that you could call into work. Or if the call-in excusinator is something to destroy call-in excuses, then imagine I made up something for that. Anyways, Beardos, I'll see you on next week's episode. Bye!
Hey guys, make sure you follow and subscribe to our podcast so you can receive a notification every Sunday when a new episode drops.
Well, you guys, I didn't have a lot of options for calling out sick whenever I wasn't feeling great to work, but that was before I got the call-in excusinator, and now the options are limitless.
It saved me numerous times. I would use the Call-In Excusinator on a regular basis, even for doctor's appointments.
I knew it was a given deal whenever I called my employer and I just hit the play button on the excusinator, and it just played the highway death pileup scene from Final Destination 2 over the speaker.
Hey, this is Jay. I can't. Oh! They can visualize the Ford Pinto that can't hit its brakes.
Yes, that crash was great because it was a combination of cars exploding and Donald Duck being really mad.
Oh man, that scene has ruined my life.
Exactly. I just rest easier knowing that logs don't actually bounce in the air. They aren't physically capable of bouncing 6 feet in the air.
Thank God. That's the only reason I'm okay.
Yeah, that's the only one.
That's
but let's
the
go
only
ahead,
one.
Let's go ahead and move on. Jay, do we have any Beardo submitted sundries this week?
You know what? We do.
Ooh.
And I know. Thanks for messaging us. We were so sad last week.
No.
We heard from So it was actually just a message to me, but out of the blue yesterday. So out of the blue on Tuesday this week, he said, "Sir, you owe me a car detailing of my interior. This week's commercial featuring Martha Stewardess and Sneaky Dog. I was drinking an energy drink on my way to work when listening, and I legitimately laughed so hard I sprayed all over my dashboard and windshield. I had to pull over, catch my breath, and clean the window. That truly was one of the best you've done.
Oh, damn. A legit spit take?
A spit take for sure. Oh my god. That was such a... I didn't know what I wanted to do with that commercial. Exactly. Like, I had a vibe, and I still, like, as I was making it, I'm like, God, I hope this is okay. And I'm glad that was the confirmation.
Turns out it was okay.
That was the confirmation I needed.
Well, thanks, Jorge.
Yes, thank you, Jorge. So glad to hear from you. And next, sorry, I got to open it on my phone because I didn't move it over into notes this week. But then we also heard from
Peter.
We need like a professional choir to do Catherine's because I think she's next on the list.
We should do Catherine's. I should do Catherine's.
What did PETA have to say this week?
PETA said, "Hey, Beardos. I've been catching up on the past few weeks of episodes because my husband and I went on our delayed honeymoon. We went all over France and had an amazingly wonderful and magical time. They sent some pictures that I have not uploaded, so I'm sorry they're not on the show this week. Anyway, wanted to say I'm finally caught up and also loved Fruitopia. I wonder if I'd even be able to drink it anymore if it was still around, or if I think it was too sweet now.
I think I would have to chew it.
Right? I bet it's just pure sugar.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember Sobe? And I absolutely do. Because I thought buying that glass bottle would have been so fancy. And all the colors I thought were going to be so delicious. And many of them I was just like...
Ugh. I just heard Anthony gasp in astonishment all the way from North Carolina because he loved Sobe.
Well, that makes sense for him.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. That was a good drink too. I really like the orange one, which I think was a mango flavor or something.
Sure, that's what they want you to think.
That's the word they use to describe it. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm so happy about all the fall stuff now. The candles, the food, the weather, all of it. I always like to go out to fall festivals and do corn mazes and have apple cider, donuts, and just all the fun fall stuff. My birthday is also this month, so I get to pair the fall fun with my birthday. You lucky, lucky guy. Do you all have fall festivals and corn mazes you like to go to as well? Oh, and congratulations on your move, Jay. Hope you're enjoying the new place. I was happy to see Reggie in the background once. And right now in the background, you see a lot of garbage that I've moved in and have yet to sort out. As usual, y'all have been doing great, and I've been loving the episodes and commercials. Dolan Frump's accordions killed me. Hope you all have been well. Love ya, PETA.
Well, thanks, PETA. That was a great message from a great beardo.
Also, our fall festivals, I don't remember if we have like any festivals really, but we do like concerts in the park here in the city where the city sponsors artists to come perform, and like we had Justin Davis, the country singer, this last Saturday, and it was a perfect gorgeous day for it. We also do big pumpkin patches that they bring in the downtown parks, and so that's the stuff I can think of. We also have a couple family farms around here that do basically family farm events where you bring your family out, you pick pumpkins, and you just do a bunch of shit around there, and it's way overpriced. Like, or family farms is $40 or so to get in per person. I'm like, excuse me?
It makes you think of this. There's this little crappy pumpkin patch fun family fair thing that's like 2 miles from our house. And there's these big 2 tube slides that go up a hill, like a small hill that you would hike up and then you'd slide down the hill. They're big black tube slides, and every year when they close the little park, they cover up the front with like plywood, and I'm assuming the top too. And I always think, like, my garbage brain is always like, what do you think's in there? And I'm like wondering, like, the whole rest of the year what animals or like creatures are crawling in there and like making their little hovels, and then they have to clean it out every year before.
I don't know. Anytime we talk about tubes, my brain immediately goes to Jeepers Creepers, and I think of the tube that he's dropping bodies down.
I thought you were going to say, like, get my tubes tied. Oh.
Oh, not yet. I'm still good there.
Still nice and fertile.
Still nice and fresh. That's me. Oh, and our last one we heard from this week is Aaron Choi. So our Aaron sent us another drawing that he's done for us, and we already appreciate it. And I did get this one uploaded, and I will share it right now. And he said it's our trope to gay death, a.k.a. turning 40.
Oh, no. I see a casualty in the back.
Oh, this bitch. I assumed y'all were already in your 40s. Aaron!
Bitch! Well, you know what happens when you assume, don't you? You make an ass out of you and me.
I had more comments, and I was like, nope. I can't say them.
I do like the AARP brochure in the 40s character's hand because Anthony is already an AARP member.
I have been getting
You can apply.
Yeah,
You can apply at age 35.
I have been getting ads from them since my 20s, and I'm like, hey, now.
One thing I will say for them, their magazine is annoying, and every time I see the cover of it, I laugh in our mailbox before I throw it away. But one thing I will say about AARP is some of the discounts you can get on travel on rental cars is actually really fucking good.
Well, that's good.
What are those things that are covering his
Werther's original?
Oh!
It is Werther's
That's
original
funny.
caramels. Anthony is dead, covered in caramels and wrappers of caramels.
I like that the head is a Centrum Silver bottle. And then
Yeah,
he
that's
made
all it is,
all
is
of
a
the
Centrum.
colors on the Centrum Silver bottle.
Also, look how big my mouth is. That's me.
That's ambitious. Well, that is you, like, when you get started laughing really hard, I guess.
That's true. But my face is way too, like, white. Like, it needs to be more red if I'm
Hey, I know. Your face is not pink enough.
I just, like, looked at myself in the camera, and I was like, oh, yeah, there it is. I've been laughing because it's bright red.
Well, as insulting as the intro to this picture was, Aaron, this is very good and very funny and very cute. And I like it a lot.
Yes, thank you for that. I'll have to post that one. And that all I know of, unless I missed one, I think that's it for this week's user content.
Our absolute deluge of content we had this week.
Wow, 3. Hey, that's better than last week, and I'm glad.
Absolutely. Thanks, everyone. And if you are looking to add yourself to the user-submitted content, that email address is beardsandsundries@gmail.com, or if you'd like to hear yourself on our opening voicemail, that phone number is 405-999-2242.
We have one planned for next week, and we're going to need more after that. So call away. Tell us what you thought about... No, I don't want that. Never mind. Don't talk about the vice presidential debate. I didn't even watch it.
No.
I was in a
cordial.
chaotic... oh, yeah, that's right. I was in a chaotic little scenario that night, and I was like, I do not want to watch this.
No thanks. I'm good.
Well, since Anthony's not here to give us something to check out, and I don't have anything to check out besides me. Joe, do you have anything to check out?
I do, and I just was inspired by PETA's love for fall festivals. So here's something to check out. So this is a comedian who is actually from Oklahoma. He's right here in Edmond, Oklahoma, which is a suburb of Oklahoma City, and his name is Trey Kennedy.
Oh, yes.
And I was hoping for Jay's reaction because Trey Kennedy has a series of videos that he's done for the past several years, and it's making fun of girls at the pumpkin patch, specifically white LL Bean girls at the pumpkin patch. And so I think the best one is before he got really big, but it was like big enough that people knew him, and I think there were like 15 or 20 of the girls. But it just starts with a zoom in of his face, and he says, "Hallelujah," and then it zooms out, and it just shows all of these white girls wearing that wide-brimmed hat, and they all have the sweater and the long boots and jeans, and they all go, "Ah!" and they all throw leaves in the air, and then it's just him as one of the girls in a bunch of different scenarios where he's like, okay, we have Ashley, Smashley, Cashley, Cashy, and you, and over here, look at your, oh, you got faucet highlights. It's like just him being the worst adaptation of a white girl during the fall with a pumpkin spice latte that he can muster, and it's so on point and hilarious that you can't help but laugh at it, even if you are one of those girls.
And also on top of that, he's just cute.
Yeah, he's a good-looking guy anyway.
He's
so.
decently attractive for sure. And I'm always like, you're so good at this acting. Are you gay? Even though I'm like, no, but
no,
yes.
he's not, unfortunately. I mean, after some pickup lines, maybe you could persuade him.
I know my pickup lines are phenomenal. I may be able to work them over.
Yes, they are. Mm-hmm. But yeah, he's got other videos too that are great. He has other facets of comedy, and he really is clever and quick with a lot of his delivery, so he's definitely worth checking out. And once again, that's Trey Kennedy.
It's so funny. I can picture him in so many of them, but I cannot remember what they were about or what was said right now. Like, if I feel like in these scenarios, my brain cannot focus on memories. Because I genuinely have followed him almost since the beginning of my experience of TikTok.
Yeah, the way he delivers all those classic white girl lines, it really just is on the nose.
I think the first video I ever saw of him was he's like just enjoying Oklahoma, and we were having an ice storm, I think, and he like threw the basketball and it just got stuck in the net because it was frozen.
Yeah, I've seen that one before. But that's basically how his humor works. So if you're a fan of smart humor that pokes fun at stereotypes but also recognizes stereotypes of its own, then it's definitely worth a check out.
Heck yeah. Thanks for that, Joe. That's a great one.
All right.
Yay!
Well, I don't have a game. That's almost an hour. It's probably going to be only like 45 minutes if I cut stuff, so...
Hell, I don't have a game either.
Well, Beardos, I know it was a little bit shorter of an episode today. Just a little, because there's only two of us. But, Jay, do you think you hear the music coming back on? Did I do that right?
Not at all.
No?
I'm deaf.
But
I can't hear shit,
in all
Joe.
seriousness, Beardos, the music is coming back on, and it's time for us to go. But don't forget to leave us a voicemail in our voicemail box for all the world to hear at 405-999-2242. And then it's me. And Beardos, the cardboard cutout of Anthony that's guarding aisle 4 has fallen over, so we have to go prepare to set him back up. If you'd like to help us out, go and subscribe to our podcast so you can get a reminder every Sunday when we release a new episode. We also post frequent updates to all of our social media sites for any sundries that we add to the market. Oh, this is Anthony's part. Do you want
I was like, what does he talk about? He says, tell your friends. I know that part.
I have it in front of me, so I can just read it. It's like
I was like,
and don't forget to rate us 5 stars in your review. We'd love
oh,
to
yeah,
read.
okay. Yeah,
Double
I was
our
like, I
growth.
can do that.
Okay.
Hey, and don't forget, go on to the podcast apps, anywhere you listen, rate us 5 stars. 5 out of 6 balls also. But give us 5 stars because we want to be able to read your reviews if you write any of them. And you doing that helps us grow more, so we would love that. Oh,
And-
telling other friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I was like,
Each one of you telling one friend about the podcast because that will grow.
and then if you go and tell a friend, especially your gay friends, that you love the show, then that's going to easily double our growth. So that'll help us. And if you want to get in touch with us, email us at beardsandsundries@gmail.com. Check out our website, beardsandsundries.com, where you can go purchase any of our apparel or cups that we have. You can check out our socials and message us on those, which are TikTok, Instagram, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook. I'll message you on there. That's awesome. And, oh God, I already forgot the rest of my part. Oh. And again, call us at 405-999-2242. Leave voicemails.
So if you want to leave us a voicemail, I'm just kidding. So, from the two of us perfect attendance award winners here at the Beards and Sundries Market, make sure to
Rag on Anthony in your messages you send us for not being here this week for a job. I'm kidding. Love yourself.
because we already love you.
No,
Bye.
that's so sweet. Bye.
Bye.